You are like really loud.
I didn't say pineapple. Why are you trying to make it worse now? You see, it's people like this that give you these insecurities. Hello! Welcome back to another Natalie and Alfred sitting in a tree. And the reason I'm in a muted tone is because Ethan is sleeping and we're squeezing a Natalie and Alfred sitting in a tree in because, you know, we run our own businesses and we have a 2-year-old and sometimes these things have to happen 11:45 at night. Anyway, sit like this, we'll lean this way. Body language is everything.
But there's space when I feel like I can breathe here.
You know, you like to be close to daddy. Anyway, so this week's podcast is about insecurities, and the reason I want to talk about insecurities is I listened to a podcast with two ladies that talk about relationships, and one of the very interesting things, that came up was the one lady said she had a friend that always used to speak badly about herself to her and other people. And I was like, I've seen that in other people. Natalie doesn't really have that problem, but even I say negative things about myself. And so this person said it. We all know people like that. They're always down and saying, but you know, I'm just so fat, or I'm just so negative things.
Did you say I don't do that?
You do that sometimes.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, so sometimes, but it frustrates me sometimes, but you're not nearly as bad as some of my people I know. So like, and these are good people that like are not very kind to themselves. And so this person said, this podcast host said that she started a thing where she said, listen, every time her friend said something negative about herself, she would say a word to alert her that she's speaking negatively about herself, so that she could catch herself being unkind to herself. So she would say pineapple. Every time the person said something ugly about them, it's like, you know, I'm just flat pineapple. And she said pineapple so much in the beginning, this woman started realizing how bad she is to herself. And so the second thing that brought me here was that thing, and also I'm trying to learn how to meditate. And the reason for that is that I just want a little bit more stillness and control over my thoughts, because I've realized that my brain is constantly like running. Kom lag, Jake. If you think I'm talking a lot to you, could you imagine what's going on here? It's like a hamster on a wheel.
Yeah, no, you need that meditation.
So I just I'm learning very slowly how to meditate, just to like calm my mind and calm my nerves, because your brain never gives yourself a break, and the things you think are the things that you become, you know. And so that negativity part and the consciousness about meditating has made me think about insecurities and how many insecurities we have. So I am inviting in Natalie here to state, both of us have to say this week, tell 2 insecurities about ourselves, and I will give you the solutions to my things I'm working on to try and make it better, because I don't have the answers. What are 2 insecurities? And everyone says weight, so let's not say weight, because I can tell you I will never take this t-shirt off in public. Okay, let's just put that out there. Pineapple. Anyway, so what are 2 insecurities?
I don't know if I have 2 though, but I know that one of my biggest insecurity is not being in control of something, and that's anything in general. Like if I'm not in control of like anything that I'm doing, or in a relationship, or with my work, with my business, if I'm not like actually in control, like if I'm driving and I'm not in control, if like I'm vulnerable and I'm insecure.
So like controlling.
Yeah.
You need to control everything for you to be calm.
Well, not in like
is that an insecurity?
Sense.
Is that insecurity?
You are. Well,
no, I'm just asking. I'm not like saying anything. I'm asking.
For me, I guess it is.
Do you feel like that's an insecurity?
And then my stomach.
Well, we just said. Natalie also, like I tell her all the time, weight is an insecurity for so many people. And maybe it's rightfully so, right? Like, for example, when I was, I've never felt thin in my life, but at one point I was just the head and bones. I've never, even at that point, when I look at pictures from when I was 16, I felt fat then. And I was a chubby kid, and I grew up in the public school system where, you know, people were relentless with teasing you about your weight, and fat shaming wasn't a thing. They just call you Honda. That's what they used to call me. It was a character from Street Fighter, or they used to call me some fatty name, you know. And so those things stick with you even when you thin and old. And so, you know, weight loss is a constant struggle for us all. And so, like, I mean, looking like you, people like look at you and I go, what fat are you talking about? You could pick up 10 kgs. Daddy likes more, Natalie. Oh yes, she would eat it. So one of my insecurities is sometimes I speak way too much, and I wish I could just take some time, sit back and control. Again, that's where the meditation comes in, to try and control my thought process and sort of to, you know, have a little bit more control over my actions and my mind. So like, I love chatting, but there's a point at which I feel like I'm overbearing, and I've been around people that do that, and I go, yeah, this brat talks way too much.
But sometimes it's not even just chatting, you are like really loud.
I didn't say pineapple. Why are you trying to make it worse now? You see, it's people like this that give you these insecurities. So like, have you ever gone out now, spoken to your friends so much, drive home and go, yeah, I didn't even give that bra time to talk. I was so excited to see him, I said too much. Why did I speak so much? Why can't I just shut up and let people speak? I got so excited to be around this person, and now this person probably doesn't want to be around me because I spoke too much. And then your mind starts running, and that's where meditation comes in. Because I've been around people that speak too much, that are excited to see me, that are friends, and I've never gone home going, you talk a bit much. Oh, okay. But I'm like, that's so the way I'm trying to negate that is to try and listen a lot more. And it's weird for a comedian to say that.
When did you start this?
I've started for the last week or two. I'm not saying I'm successful at it.
Oh.
You see, pineapple. So I'm just saying, so that is what happens. Society puts pressure on you, and that's where these insecurities come from. Just saying. So then that is my other thing. What is your other insecurity?
I don't have another insecurity that I can think of.
I've got a laundry basket. I'm like, comedians, we have insecurities. It's what creates the clown that walks, and I hate saying a clown because it diminishes what I do for a living. But I always say I've created a character that protects me from society, and that is this persona that drives me to be on stage, and that is who I've become. But I'm actually quite a shy person that I've had to develop the skill in. Like,
clown is definitely not the right word.
Yeah, it's ugly to say that. So yeah, that's my, like, I can tell you more insecurities I have. My second insecurity would be, for example, that I've got financial insecurities. It doesn't matter how well I do. I think everyone has this. I go to bed every night thinking, did I save enough money? Am I going to turn 65 and not have enough money to go to my kid's wedding? Because, and that insecurity comes from seeing so many people not retiring successfully with day jobs or businesses. I've seen it. Out of 10 people that retire in my life, I think 3 people retire successfully. I'm so thankful and grateful that my parents and your mother also, they've retired successfully and they can afford to retire. But I'm panic stricken at night going, oh my god, I just don't want to end up in my child's house. You know, I just don't. And what if Ethan tells me, Dad, I fell in love with someone in Paris, the wedding is in June? I've got to go, huh? Op 'n sasakaart gaat ek mos nie uitkom nie. So that's like a big insecurity for me. Like, it doesn't matter how much money I make or save, it's always short-lived, because by the next Tuesday I'm always like, oh my goodness, I need to make more money so that I can retire. Not to live, because we're comfortable. Like, not always with lockdown, but we've never gone to bed hungry, but I'm worried about 65. That's my big thing. That's a big insecurity for me.
And I think failure for me is like a huge thing. I lay in bed at night and I think, flippin' hell, I can't fail at this. I can't, and especially now with the business, like, that is it. Keeps me awake. And I can't fail, because I'm also thinking about the embarrassment, if it should fail. It's not even about the business, it's about everything in my life. What if I fail at anything? It's the embarrassment, it's that fear of just knowing that I couldn't do something to its full potential.
I think that some of those fears are necessary to make you get up in the morning and drive you to do more things, but it becomes impractical and detrimental to your success when it becomes consumes you completely.
When it overpowers you
all day long. Like,
Yeah.
it's like studying for an exam and thinking, oh no, I don't have enough time, when you have a week left. And then you think about it, and the Monday's gone, just you panicking, and then you end up the day before that you spend more time worrying about the problem than addressing the problem.
I feel like I'm also in that, just a little bit of that mode still.
I think that's normal for the stage that you're in right now.
I don't always want to make excuses.
No.
I feel like this week and last week is just like, I've just been saying, no, I'm still trying to find my feet. But I know that there's going to be a point where, like, Natalie, you need to just shake this off, and you can't always just find your feet. But
I
don't know when that's going to be.
No, but I mean, I think that just that thing that you just said makes me not worry about you, because that is a person that is considered about what they're doing. That is very normal.
I am. I'm always thinking about what I'm doing and hoping that it's the right decision that I'm making with anything.
It's a strange thing to be a person that is self-employed, because every decision you make impacts your livelihood and your life, and you have to make those decisions, or the decisions are made for you. And when the decisions are made for you, you end up in a bad place. So, like, you've got to drive your career, you have to drive your business. For the first 2 years of being self-employed, I was panic stricken every day, until John Flismus actually told me that's normal, and one day you'll just wake up and it'll be gone, and you'll realize this is just your new normal, and it's become that.
So it's going to take 2 years.
Really? For me it took 2 years. It could take 3 weeks for you. I don't know, but yeah, that is another, like, that's a thing that is like a crippling thing, but I don't even think that is an insecurity.
I feel like
a normal thing.
I feel like I don't really have insecurities. For me, it's a lot of fear. It's just a lot of fear of a lot of things.
But you are in a place that is very unknown, so those are all feelings that are normal. Those are within the normal parameters of things. But I have like different weird little quirks and things, like talking too much is a thing. Like, an insecurity to me is something that I'm trying to hide. Like something that is a secret. Like, me talking too much makes me feel vulnerable somehow, that I said so much that I embarrassed myself, and this person is burdened by me. And I would not tell you that, because my ego wouldn't allow me to do so, because that would, and that feeds into that insecurity the whole time. It's a horrible circle. I'm sure there's a name for it, right? Now, weight loss is obviously an insecurity. I've said that. So let me just end this video by saying how I'm addressing those things with my issues around sharing too much and talking too much and those things. I started to try to do this meditation thing. It's only been like a week, but I can see some value to it, because it all of a sudden has changed the way I perceive things and my thoughts, and what I'm doing it through like this app called Headspace. They're not paying me for this, but they sort of train you like from 3 minutes to 5 minutes, and I'm like on 10 minutes a day now, where I just sit still and meditate and try to meditate.
But what are you listening to?
So it's a coach that coaches you through it. So how to
I
do
thought it
it.
was like music, like when you're going to a spa.
And then you smell oil. No.
Oils, yeah.
Now there's someone that speaks to you that says,
okay. I see.
breathe in, relax, and then explains what's going to happen to you. Like thoughts
Like
will come.
what?
So like thoughts come through your mind all the time. And so it helps you recognize that you are thinking about something and drifting off, and then it brings you back and say, okay, now let it go softly and bring you. Then you start going, this is how thoughts control you, because sometimes you can hang on to a thing for days.
And it's so crazy because like when you sit there, like the first time I did yoga, which is probably why I hate it so much. First time I did yoga, like you have to sit there and you have to, like, you know, there's a point where you need to meditate, and I'm just thinking negative thoughts here. I'm just thinking about like something that happened to me a while back, or the fear of this, and it's all negative. It was never for me positive. Like, why do you always go back to the negative? Why can you not think about like the positive? Why do you have to go into headspace for them to try and put you in another space out of that negativity? Why is that? Like, I don't get it.
So meditation sort of addresses that issue exactly. That you tend to, well, I'm no expert, please. I'm just starting and playing around with it. But when you start becoming still, these thoughts, especially when you go to bed at night, they start running into your head. Or when you do something like yoga that physically brings you to a place that you need to be calm and also twist your body, and it brings you into a space where you are alone with your thoughts. Then you start realizing how your brain is happening and what's happening and how it grabs onto negative things. You can train your brain to go, oh, this is a thought, let this go, let's be more kind, let me be more kind to myself, let me say more positive things about myself, because the things you say is the thing. I've noticed that I'm very hard on myself. Would I be this unkind to you? I would never, trust me, I would never be like I am to myself. In my head, the conversations I have and how hard I am with myself, I would never be that with someone I love. So it sort of brings you back to, it tells you to think about how badly you are treating the person that is actually should be the most important to you, yourself, your self-love. And you think you love yourself and you think you're happy, but you're not. You just been berating yourself, like every day the conversation that you're having in your head. I sometimes sit at a dinner table or watch, and my thoughts go to something that happened to me in primary school, and it embarrasses me all over again. And I'm like, what is the use of that thought and hanging on to that thought at age 38 with a child and a wife and a beautiful home and a career that I've always wanted? Why am I still being speaking so badly to myself in my subconscious? So that's what I'm trying to address. Anyway, on that lovely light note, that's been a Natalie and Alfred sitting at a tree. Do you want to share anything that you want to change? So meditation's a big thing for me, and we've started exercising. Now, I'm not trying to break the bank. I'm not trying to be Sylvester Stallone. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be ducking the proteins, because I failed at it so many times before.
But as you saw before, he doesn't gym. He just makes videos of me. I'm gymming.
I'm an essential service. I'm motivational. No, I go and I don't overdo things. I do enough so that I sweat, but I don't. But to bring me back to the gym the next day, because I used to go too hard and then the next day I don't want to come back. So what are you doing?
I'm going to gym.
I'm going to
trying to let go.
And we're spending Monday mornings from after gym. Me and her go and have a coffee to have a chat with no phones. Is that don't you think? It is nice, eh? We've only done it once, so it's now a thing I'm going to do. She doesn't
But
know.
I enjoyed it so much, though.
Yeah.
Just sitting there and chatting.
And appreciating the time with me. And I don't speak so much in those things. I'm trying to work on that. Go high. Go low. Goodbye.